The latest headlines in the Ivy League, covered through exclusive interviews right now. From campus to campus, go around the Ancient Eight with Brian Seltzer, Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network. Football.
It is going to be a big weekend for the Ivy League, and in particular, a big weekend for the rivalry between the two universities, Harvard and Yale, across a couple different sports. First in football, this Saturday morning, Dillon Quad on the campus of Harvard. That's where ESPN's College Game Day, their signature college football show, is going to be broadcasting live leading up to edition number 131 between the Harvard Crimson, already with a piece of the Ivy League title, and one of the two challengers that remains, the Yale Bulldogs. Lee Fitting is the senior coordinating producer for ESPN's college sports studio shows. Good enough to spend a few minutes. Lee, how did you guys go about picking Harvard as this weekend's host of College Game Day?
Harvard and Yale is on our radar and on our list every year, and as we got about a month out, it got a little more real. And then it got really serious a couple of weeks ago when we saw that the FBS slate didn't have a standout game, and there's a good chance that Harvard and Yale will be playing for the Ivy League crown or a share of it. And then last week, both teams won it. It made it a no-brainer. It was an easy one.
So often, Lee, we see College Game Day broadcasting live from the campuses of bowl-eligible football programs. What do you guys want to showcase about two programs coming from the football championship subdivision ranks, and in particular, the Ivy League?
It's simple. It's not simple. It's the games. When you talk about the greatest college football rivalries of all time, this game is on the short list. It's Michigan-Ohio State, it's Harvard-Alabama, it's Harvard-Yale, in no particular order. And we want to showcase the passion, the emotion, history, the fun, the pranks, all that have taken place over the years and years and years of the rivalry. And part of our job is to educate the college football landscape as to what goes on every year when these two teams play. It's exciting. Our show group has a different sense of energy this week. It gives us a little extra hop in our step. We love going somewhere for the first time. We love going somewhere where a game means so much as this one does. And we'd love to be a small part of a great rivalry like this.
Lee Fitting, he's the senior coordinating producer for ESPN's college sports studio shows, a three-time Emmy Award winner with College Game Day. So great to get that insight and perspective. Thanks so much for taking the time.
All right, have a good one. Thank you.
Volleyball.
Keeping it in Cambridge, Massachusetts with Harvard, the Malkin Athletic Center Friday night, Harvard-Yale, the co-champions for Ivy League volleyball. This is the fourth time in conference history that a playoff will be necessary to determine which team represents the Ivy League in the NCAA championship tournament in the field of 64. Ben Altscher broadcasts games on the Ivy League Digital Network for the Harvard Crimson. Ben, what set this run in motion for Harvard? Its second Ivy League title ever. It's won 11 straight matches.
I think really, at this point late in the year, Harvard just really managed to find itself. I think coming into the year, you could see that the talent was there throughout the roster. They had three Ivy League first-team players returning, and just a little bit of a struggle early on in the season. And come down the stretch, the health has been good, and I think they've just been able to kind of put it all together.
Ben, on the opposite side, Yale, no stranger to being on big stages. They've won 8 Ivy League championships all time, 5 in a row, 6 out of the last 7 years. What type of rivalry has built up over the last couple seasons with Harvard becoming a challenger to the Bulldogs?
Yale, they've had the proverbial target on their back, and everybody's kind of been gunning for Yale. Harvard's just been the first team to get there, a nice accumulation of talent, and like I said, kind of being able to put it together at the right time, and they caught Yale a couple times this year, but it's going to be very difficult, obviously, to beat the same team 3 times in the same season.
What made the difference for the Crimson in those 2 matchups?
Harvard has just had something about it this year, unbeaten in 5-set matches, 7-0. Those kind of pressure situations just have not seemed to faze the Crimson at all this year. And then the win down at New Haven was probably their most impressive performance of the season, given that, Yale had lost there in more than 2 years.
Harvard, Yale, they'll meet for a third time trying to figure out which one of those 2 teams will advance on to the NCAA championship tournament. You can catch a live video stream for free on the Ivy League Digital Network this Friday. Ben Altscher will have the call. Ben, appreciate a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Brian.
That'll wrap up this week's edition of Around the Ancient Eight on the Ivy League Digital Network. For all the latest news and notes surrounding Ivy League athletics, be sure to head to ivyleaguesports.com.
This has been Around the Ancient Eight, highlighting headlines from the Ivy League. Check out new episodes premiering Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network.